All right, it's a topic that hits home for a lot of people, including me. Alzheimer's is something that really can put your family at odds, too. Unfortunately, right now there are more questions than there are answers, but we've got licensed psychologist Dr. Lauren Mason with us to help us kind of sort through some of the issues here. Good morning, Dr. Mason.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's just start off with what is Alzheimer's? What do we know?
What we know is that more than 5 million people are impacted by Alzheimer's disease, and it's a disease of memory loss. It's a result of proteins building up in the brain, beta amyloid and tau to be specific, and they pretty much eat away at the brain and the memory and learning centers.
So what kind of symptoms are we going to see?
It depends on what stage the person's in. It starts off very slow, where only the person themselves usually notices that they misplace things, they can't remember certain words that they want to use, and it eventually evolves into forgetting their way home from the grocery store. Then as it progresses even more, forgetting the faces of family members.
Yeah, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. My grandfather just went through that. But you know, you think about going, when you go into a room and you forget why you go there. I do that all the time. So how do you know it's Alzheimer's, and how do you know it's just like aging?
Well, that's what's so tricky, is that in the very beginning, there's very little difference between typical mild cognitive impairment and clinical mild cognitive impairment, which is a precursor to Alzheimer's disease. And doctors and researchers are trying to find ways to diagnose earlier, but as of right now, you don't know it first. It's not until the person calls and says, "I'm lost." And you say, "Well, honey, you just went to McDonald's."
Right, it's right there.
I know, and and that's usually a clue that it's something more, and that's when you should talk to a physician.
That's what I was going to say. So that's when you should call your doctor.
Yeah, some people, honestly, I think people should go see their doctor sooner when they think something's wrong, because you're your best judge of who you are.
Right.
And if it's nothing, then great, but there are different tests where they can objectively determine if your cognitive functioning is more deficient than it was, say, 6 months ago.
Gotcha. Is it just me, or is it more common nowadays?
It's not so much that it's more common, it's that there are more older people.
People are living longer now, so okay, that makes sense.
And there are, I think, presently like 43 million people over age 65.
That makes sense.
But by the year 2050, there'll be almost 90 million.
Wow.
So it's growing, because the baby boomers are aging.
And some people will use Alzheimer's when they mean dementia, and dementia when they mean Alzheimer's. So what's the difference there?
Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. There are actually several different types, but Alzheimer's dementia is responsible for 80% of dementia cases.
Wow, alrighty. So the caregivers, so once you know it's Alzheimer's, how does it affect the caregivers too? Because it does put the family at odds. My mother, you know, and me, you know, it's hard. Like, do we go visit? He's not going to remember. It's really tough.
It's very tough, and the best thing a caregiver can do is to educate themselves about the illness as soon as possible. Because it's going to present itself differently at different stages. Like I mentioned earlier, at first it might be just the person's forgetting things, but then their personality changes. They become moody, cranky, and unfortunately sometimes aggressive.
Yep, I know. I know.
And it's easy to internalize that as being about your relationship with that person, when in reality it's just the disease talking.
I gotcha. So it's also good for the caregivers to maybe see someone like you, too, to help us through it.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, caregivers take on so much stress, sometimes more than 40 hours a week.
Wow.
On average, is given to caring for a loved one. And people minimize the impact that that has on their own mental health. And mental health influences physical health, so it becomes just a really scary cycle.
All right, and you're with the Mind Spa South, so where can we go for more info?
www.mymindspa.net. Or you can give me a call at 239-307-0886.
All right, well, thank you so much, Dr. Mason. Always good having you.
Oh, thank you.